Hey guys, I'm Mark from Porsche Spot and welcome to week 33 of the Premier League review. If you are new to this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, the Premier League table and the Premier League top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 15th, Sunday the 16th and Monday the 17th of April 2017. Also next to the games are the times of this video, so if you want to hear about a certain game, just go to the time next to the match and you skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with Tottenham versus Bournemouth. Tottenham were all over Bournemouth in the opening of this game and they got what they deserved in the 17th minute when they took the lead through Moussa Dembele. It came when the Belgian had far too much space and he was able to strike the ball and he tucked it into the back of the net. And only 2 minutes later, Spurs doubled their lead through Son Heung-min. It came when Jack Wilshere gave the ball away to Harry Kane, who then flicked the ball near the edge of the box. On the end of it with the South Korean, who took it past his man and then hit the ball underneath Artur Boruc. And Spurs would add their third 2 minutes into the second half when Harry Kane got a goal on his return to the Tottenham starting 11. It came when Harry Kane picked up the ball in the Bournemouth box, outmuscled his man and then put it low into the bottom corner of the net for his 20th league goal this season. And one final nail in the coffin came in the 92nd minute when Spurs added their fourth, when a Tottenham corner is put into the box and it falls to the feet of Vincent Janssen, who takes a shot that is saved, but there was no mistake about the rebound as he put the ball home. And that's how the game would end, and what else can I add? Tottenham are dismantling any team put in front of them. 2 4-0 wins in a row. If anyone is going to catch Chelsea, it's Spurs. Bournemouth, they really had no chance. Tottenham are a completely different class this season and fully deserved all 3 points. But with this result, Tottenham reduced the gap on Chelsea to 4 points, with Chelsea still to play on Sunday and Bournemouth remained in 16th. And we move on to Everton versus Burnley. Everton took the lead 5 minutes into the second half when Phil Jagielka got his third goal in as many games. It came from an Everton corner when the ball is put into the box, and on the end of it was Phil Jagielka, who converted with his head past Tom Heaton. But Burnley got the perfect chance to level the scoring when they were given a penalty only 2 minutes later. The penalty was needlessly given away when Everton keeper Joe Robles charged out of his goal and took out Sam Vokes, and the referee had no choice but to point to the spot. Sam Vokes stepped up to take it and he sent Robles the wrong way and converted from the spot. But Everton would retake the lead in the 70th minute through Ross Barkley, I think. I'm going to give it to him anyway, considering the shit he's had to go through this week. It came when Kevin Mirallas took a shot that is saved and it fell back to Ross Barkley, who weaved in and out before finding some space on the left to strike the ball, and it goes into the back of the net, but it did take a deflection off of Michael Keane, and then it hit Ben Mee. And the goals committee did count it as an own goal. But like I said, I'm going to give it to Ross Barkley, considering that the Sun newspaper compared Ross Barkley, a man with Nigerian descent. His grandfather is Nigerian. I think his dad's full Nigerian as well. They compared him to a gorilla. The Sun newspaper, everybody, that newspaper that disrespected the 96 people that died at Hillsborough 28 years ago. The Sun newspaper that was already banned in Liverpool. You couldn't buy the newspaper in Liverpool in the entirety of Merseyside. The Sun reporters are banned from Anfield and now they're banned from Goodison Park. Let's just hope the rest of the country follows suit and bans this shit newspaper as well. Hashtag ban the Sun. Anyway, back to the football. Everton would double their lead 2 minutes later when their league top goal scorer added another one to his tally when Romelu Lukaku got on the score sheet. It came when Ross Barkley, who had a blinder by the way, he played the ball into Lukaku, who turned Michael Keane before smashing a shot past Tom Heaton at the near post. And that's how the game would end, a pretty comfortable win in the end for Everton, as apart from a few moments, they were the better side. After this result, where Everton recorded their 9th home league win in a row, they moved up to 5th with Manchester United and Arsenal still to play, and Burnley stayed in 14th. And we move on to Stoke versus Hull. It wouldn't take long for one of these teams to up their scoring, as only 6 minutes into the match, Stoke took the lead through Marko Arnautovic. It came from a Stoke corner that was partially cleared by Hull, but the ball ended up with Arnautovic, and the Austrian was able to work some space on the edge of the area before powerfully finishing past the keeper. But Hull would equalise their scoring 5 minutes into the second half through Harry Maguire. It came when Sam Clucas put a cross into the box, and the rest is one of the untidiest goals I've ever seen. The ball isn't cleared by Stoke and it fell to Maguire. He scuffed his shot, but it did go in via a deflection from Ryan Shawcross. But Stoke would retake the lead in the 66th minute when John Walters picked up the ball on the left hand side before delivering a perfect cross into the box, and on the end of it, of course, was Peter Crouch, and Peter Crouch does what Peter Crouch does best as he headed into the back of the net. And Stoke would secure all 3 points when they made it 3-1 in the 81st minute through Xherdan Shaqiri. It came from nowhere when the Swiss had the ball about 30 yards out, and he unleashes a shot that flew past Eldin Jakupovic and into the back of the net. And that's how the game would end. A big result for both teams as Stoke put an end to their horrible form as of late, as before this match they had lost their last 4 games, so it was vital that they picked up these points. And as for Hull, you just feel like every loss they are getting closer and closer to the drop. It is tight down there. There's still loads of teams that could still be relegated, but Hull do look like one of the favourites to go down. As with this result, Stoke jumped up to 11th and Hull remained just outside the drop zone in 17th. And we move on to Southampton versus Manchester City. It would take until the 55th minute for one of these teams to take the lead, and it was Manchester City who broke the deadlock through their captain Vincent Kompany. It came when David Silva whipped the corner into the box, and on the end of it was Kompany who rose above his marker and planted the header into the back of the net for his first goal since August 2015. And City doubled their lead 20 minutes later when City played a beautiful counter-attack when Kevin De Bruyne made a brilliant run, and it was 2 versus 1 as Kevin De Bruyne squared the ball for Leroy Sané, who put the ball through the legs of Fraser Forster and into the back of the net. And Man City would wrap the game up a minute later when they added their third through Sergio Aguero. Yet again at the heart of the attack was Kevin De Bruyne as he collected the ball from Jesus Navas before chipping a lovely ball to the back post, and on the end of it was Sergio Aguero who got the better of 2 defenders to simply nod home. And that's how the game would end. A comfortable win for City in the end, but judging by the first half, you wouldn't think that the scoreline would be that big come the full 90. Southampton did well in the first half, but they couldn't maintain that performance all the way through, and City eased past them. And with this result, Southampton stayed in 9th, but Manchester City moved up to 3rd, with Liverpool still to play. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Leicester took the lead in this one in the 6th minute through their centre-back, Robert Huth. It was such a simple goal. Crystal Palace will be kicking themselves that they let this one in, as it came from a throw-in, and Christian Fuchs launches the ball into the box from the throw-in, and simply on the end of it was Robert Huth to head into the back of the net. And Leicester doubled their lead in the 52nd minute through Jamie Vardy. It came when Leicester caught Palace on the break when Riyad Mahrez charged up the pitch before putting a great ball through to Jamie Vardy, and that left him free. Vardy then cut inside of his man and curled the ball past Wayne Hennessy into the back of the net. But only 2 minutes later, Palace would get a go back when former Leicester man Jeffrey Schlupp takes a shot that is blocked, but it fell perfectly for Johan Cabaye, who struck the ball low under Kasper Schmeichel. And Crystal Palace would level the scoring in the 70th minute through their big striker Christian Benteke. It came when Andros Townsend broke free on the right hand side and he floated it across, and on the end of it at the back post was Benteke, who climbed above his man to head the ball home. And that's how the game would end. A great result for Palace, as a few months ago, as soon as they went 2 down, they would have let the heads drop and they would have probably conceded 2 more, but not now. I feel like Big Sam has turned the fortunes around after Alan Pardew. But with this result, it gave both teams a vital points in their survival hopes, as Crystal Palace moved up to 15th and Leicester dropped to 12th. And you might be wondering, Mark, Leicester at 12th, surely they're safe. Well, yeah, they're more than likely safe, but it's mathematically still possible for them to go down. That's how tight it is. And we move on to Sunderland versus West Ham. West Ham took the lead in the 5th minute when Andy Carroll had the ball in the Sunderland box, and you'd put money on him scoring here, but his shot is dragged well wide, but it ended up being a perfect pass for Andre Ayew, who reacted quickest and poked the ball past Jordan Pickford. But Sunderland would equalise in the 25th minute through Wabi Kazri. Butchered that. It came when Sunderland had a corner and Kazri was the man to whip it in, and the ball travelled all the way into the back of the net. Yeah, he scored directly from the corner. And how about this for a start? This goal was the first that Sunderland have scored for 8 games. But West Ham would retake the lead seconds into the second half through James Collins. It came when Robert Snodgrass put a corner into the Sunderland box, and on the end of it was James Collins, who glanced his header into the back of the net. And it looked like it was going to end with yet another Sunderland loss, but in the 90th minute, Sunderland would level the scoring again through Fabio Barini. It came when the Italian picked up the ball on the edge of the box and he smashed the shot past Darren Randolph and put the Black Cats level. And West Ham would have to play the last portion of the game with 10 men when Sam Byram got sent off. It came when he stupidly brought down Adnan Januzaj and the ref showed him his second yellow and he got first pick of the showers. But that's how the game would end in any other season. We would say this is it. This is the time where Sunderland complete their great escape and magically stay up. But I think they're in too deep this season. There's no way out of this one. A draw is probably the deserved result for both teams, as both of them had chances, Both of them wasted them. But with this result, Sunderland are still on the bottom and West Ham moved up to 13th. And we move on to Middlesbrough versus Arsenal. This was a pretty back and forth game for the opening half, with both teams having some chances, but it was Arsenal who took the lead just before the half-time break through Alexis Sanchez. It came when Arsenal won a free kick about 25 yards out from goal, and up stepped the Chilean as he got it over the wall into the top corner, leaving Brad Guzan with no chance. But to everyone's surprise, Middlesbrough levelled up the scoring 5 minutes into the second half through their top goal scorer Alvaro Negredo. It came when Stuart Downing had the ball on the right hand side, and it does well to get some space and play a lovely ball into the box, and on the end of it was Negredo with a volley past Petr Cech. But Arsenal would retake the lead in the 70th minute when Alexis Sanchez played another huge part in a goal as he drove forward and lofted a pass into the Borough box, and there was Aaron Ramsey who expertly chested it down, and in came Mesut Ozil to finish for his 11th of the season. And that's how the game would end. A good win for Arsenal because Middlesbrough, they didn't make it easy for them. They pressed well, and in my opinion, Middlesbrough were the better team for most of the second half, and they deserved to be ahead and deserved at least a point from this match. But nonetheless, Arsenal did well to keep going and pick up all 3 points, and with this result, Arsenal jumped up to 6th, but they are still 7 points off of the top 4 with a game in hand, however, and Middlesbrough are still one of the favourites to go down with them in 19th. And we move on to Manchester United versus Chelsea. It was a good start for Man United as in the 7th minute they took the lead through Marcus Rashford, not without that typical referees not spotting things against Manchester United moment. It came when Ander Herrera clearly handballed it to win back possession, then he put through Rashford and he had too much pace for his marker as he put the ball in the net. And Man United doubled their lead 5 minutes into the second half when Ashley Young cut the ball back from the left side and he found Ander Herrera who hits the shot and it flies past Asmir Begovic via a deflection off of Kurt Zouma. And that's how the game would end. What a big win in the Premier League title race. This has threw the race wide open with Spurs purring on and possibly the best form of their entire history. I wouldn't be surprised if there's one last twist in this title race. Maybe Spurs overtake Chelsea on the last day. I feel something big is about to happen. But with this result, Man United jumped up to 5th and Chelsea stayed 1st, but their gap has been reduced to 4 points. And we move on to West Brom versus Liverpool. It wasn't the best half of football, but Liverpool was slowly but surely building the pressure and they got what they deserved on the brink of half-time when they took the lead through Roberto Firmino. It came when James Milner chipped a free kick to the edge of the box and Lucas was there to flick it on, and then on the end of that was Firmino who steered his header past Ben Foster. And that's how the game would end. A few close chances here and there, but the final minutes of this game were absolutely mad. Ben Foster started to play as a striker. He went up for a corner, Liverpool broke and Moreno missed an open goal because he's a fucking sponge. They did the same thing again, but this time West Brom were able to get back, and after that West Brom were attacking so much, Ben Foster just decided, fuck it, I'll stay up. Liverpool picked up a big 3 points here in their quest for top 4, but West Brom shouldn't be sad about the way they played because in my opinion, they deserved a point. But Liverpool did well to hold on and pick up a win, and with this result West Brom stayed in 8th whilst Liverpool retook 3rd from Man City. And finally we've got Watford versus Swansea. Not really much to talk about in this one apart from the goal, and that came in the 42nd minute for Watford when Etienne Capoue got the goal. It came when Swansea defender Alfie Mawson gave the ball away to Capoue and he made his way into the box before striking the shot that was saved at first, but there was nothing the keeper could do about the second as he volleyed in the rebound via a clip of the post. And that's how the game would end. Like I said, nothing really happened. Pretty boring game. Pretty dismal from both teams. Neither team set the world on fire. But with this result, Swansea are still in the bottom 3 in 19th, and Watford are now mathematically safe for one more season as they reach that elusive 40 points mark. And with that 40 points, they are bang in the middle of the table in 10th. Right, so that's all the fixtures I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers. Starting off with the Premier League table. Start with the top 5, and as you can see, Chelsea are still at the top, but with their loss this week, their lead has been reduced to 4. Tottenham are second after another 4-0 win this week. They're the team that are going to catch Chelsea if anyone does. Liverpool are 3rd after a scrappy win against West Brom. Man City are 4th after beating Southampton, and their Manchester rivals Manchester United make up the top 5 after beating league leaders Chelsea. Moving on to the bottom 5, and Sunderland are still at the bottom, picking up a point this week against West Ham. Middlesbrough are 19th after losing to Arsenal. Swansea 18th after losing to Watford. Hull are 17th after being beat by Stoke, and Bournemouth make up the bottom 5 after being the latest team to be thrashed by Tottenham. Moving on to the top top goal scorers, and as you can see, Romelu Lukaku is on the top, adding a goal to his tally this week against Burnley. That took him up to 24 goals and 6 assists. Harry Kane is second after bagging a goal on his return to the Tottenham 11 against Bournemouth. That took him up to 20 goals and 5 assists. Alexis Sanchez is third. He bagged a goal against Boro. That took him up to 19 goals and 9 assists. And fourth and fifth positions are the exact same, as neither Zlatan Ibrahimovic or Diego Costa scored, so they both stayed on 17 goals and 5 assists. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back next Tuesday for the next episode of the Premier League review. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can. The link is in the description, or it's at portionofsport_. If you want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, the links to both of those are in the description as well. All my channels should be popping onto your screen around about now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I'll see you soon.